I got, I got, I got, I got money, 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 money. Money on my bees, cause I'm getting all these honeys. I got money, 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 money. Money is the virus, cause these niggas acting buggy. I got money, 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 money. Money on my
Man, I'm still bugging over the music, man. As soon as I hear the cha-ching, like I know we in there.
Yo, that's money every time.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Welcome to Genuine Content with Jay and Josh. Jay, it's a post Mother's Day episode. This is your first, I guess, year, but I mean, it's year zero, really. Uh, Experiencing fatherhood, have a Mother's Day directly to celebrate. That's not your own mother. Talk to us, man. How was it?
Man, it's yeah. I mean, even though it was Mother's Day, it was like almost a regular day because like why everyone's kind of spending time with their mom, and like we did something at my wife's family, my wife's mom's house, and like her family's there. My parents was over there. I was, we was busy handling our own kids, so it was like, yeah, we got a little bit of the festivities, but it was like everybody's like, oh, take pictures and do this. It's like, well, no, we gotta handle, got some business to take care of. But it was good though. It was happy. You know, my wife's first Mother's Day. I try to make it special for her. My mom was there. She's a grandmother now, first time grandmother. So it's like double Mother's Day for you, right? Like you have us, you
Oh
have
yeah.
your kids and your grandchild. So it was cool. Happened way too fast. It was muggy. It was pretty ugly here. I think it was like muggy all day, and then by the time it was like at night, like evening night, it started to rain. So whatever, it's all good, man. What about you?
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations to your missus. First Mother's Day. Even though it's a relatively quick turnaround, I'm sure the next one over will probably be a more memorable experience.
Yeah, man, 6 weeks. So
Yeah,
it's like
that's
truly
been
has to
quick.
sit in there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the weekend was good for us. Mrs. and I, we actually went to the Jacksonville, Palm Beach area, spent some time with my mom, kind of shared, um, our energy, our time. We took her out, um, had a little brunch celebration. Nothing too outlandish or nothing like that. But we just wanted to kind of spend some time with her. She's very much a quality time person, and no, we definitely wanted to make sure that she knew how much we appreciated her, and she's been such a big part of like our relationship, and um, she'll be obviously a big part of our future. And so we loved taking that 2 hour drive and kind of spending some time with her for the weekend, and um, now we're kind of back at it and full steam ahead with the week, man. Everything else good vibes wise?
Vibe, everything's chill, man. Yeah, basketball. I'm on that basketball. Been on a lot of shows since I've been out of work for a little bit. Nothing bad for any new listeners, but yeah, I'm actually been watching a lot of Better Call Saul, which is I'm almost done with it, which is pretty good. Anyone who likes Breaking Bad will love this. And I've been on that Ted Lasso. Everyone sleep on Ted Lasso. Yeah, I need to get on. That show's hilarious.
Oh man, I'm falling asleep on even more shows. I just got to Power just the other week. I'm still on like episode like 2, so I'm still falling behind. I just got to watch like 20-minute clips at a time, see what I can do just to get on track. But hey man, I know the big game came out the other day, man. You
Oh
haven't
yeah, I
logged
guess.
any hours on that?
Yeah, I guess before we actually go into the episode, everybody knows me and Josh are gamers. We both got Nintendo Switches. The new Legend of Zelda came out, and man, I've been on it. Like, if I could squeak in some time, I think that's the beauty of the Nintendo Switch. Anyone who does know it's portable. So it's like you can just take it anywhere, man. You can take it to your room, take it to the bathroom, take it, take it to your in-laws, take it to your friends. You can take it anywhere. So it's just I'm a big Legend of Zelda fan. Like I love all the games. So man, I'm just sinking in hours. I not that much, but in due time, well, I would dedicate part of my life to that game. And you've been playing it too, right?
Yeah, so I'm not quite the Zelda fan like you are. And that's not typically my type of game. I'm usually a sports game type of person, an RPG here and there. But I caught the hype of the last game, even though I didn't have a Switch at the time, and I knew I didn't have nearly enough time to get in the gameplay to beat that one before this one came around. So I figured, whatever, I'll just go into it kind of blind and see what's happening. Game is definitely complex. I wouldn't say hard. It's rough, but it's complex more than anything. But it's fun. Challenge is nice. Environment's beautiful. You can just do whatever the heck you want. Like that's kind of cool. Just explore and make a lot of mistakes, and then you just kind of figure it out. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it for maybe a couple of hours I played it so far.
It's definitely a trial and error game. Like
Yeah,
truly.
you can't be worried about like making mistakes or failing. Like it just is what it is. But that's kind of the fun of it too. Like you can make some crazy contraptions or like hack your way into something kind of cool, new strategies. It's fun.
Yeah, but, man, look at that. Yeah, I don't know how we do these podcasts and like we be just killing time because I'm looking 6 minutes past already. We just doing the intros. I guess it's time to bring in our special guest. Let me put him in real quick.
Yep.
Don, welcome.
What's going on?
What you sipping over there?
Hey.
This is a nice Kendall Jackson 2021.
Ah, all right. Well, I'll match you with a nice 2023 Simply Spiked Peach.
All right. So to people who are watching or listening right now, these two gentlemen are also known as like the Simply Kids. All they do is post pictures of like the spiked Simply lemonades and the new flavors that they're trying out, and they're like, "Oh, this one's good. This one's kind of but it's not like the mango." Or this one's
The mango.
that strawberry
Yeah.
hit, and it's almost there. But
Yeah.
The mango top tier, though. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
So this Spike Simply, it's actually this variety pack is limited. We found that out a month ago. It comes with 4 flavors: just regular peach, kiwi peach, strawberry peach, and then the mango peach. And like Don said, that is top tier. That's that peach is all I can recommend. It's the summer drink. I post this picture once a week to everybody on Saturdays. Hey, enjoy your Saturday. Get one of these bad boys.
And I feel like that kiwi one might be a sneaky one to try.
Nah,
I feel like that was good. No, dang.
I thought that was gonna be the best one.
Me too.
That's what I'm saying. Like just off the, I'm like, man, that kiwi might slap, but nah, they messed up on the flavor.
But
It's okay.
So-
It doesn't hit the notes,
But Josh, let's properly introduce Donny Blot, Donny Blow to the podcast for new time listener, first time listeners, or people day ones. This is the guy who blessed us with our intro outro. So first of all, thank you very much because those songs slap and it definitely gives the vibe that we're trying to go for here.
Easy. Thank you. My name is Donny Blot. That's BLOT. The T is silent because it's French. Who would have thought?
Man, this guy was just built for success, man. We tell this guy all the time. We like Donnie's got like the ultimate, the penultimate like entourage flow. Like it's just gold, man. Like the aura is just on 10, like all the time. It's just always good vibes with Don, man. You can kind of get an idea of his like creative elements. He's multifaceted. He's got a lot of stuff going on, and we have an episode that's driven around acting. A lot of major movements in acting in Hollywood these days that we want to talk about. Some interesting stuff, especially with regards to representation. Jay, Donnie, y'all are the movie buffs, so I'll let y'all kind of take it from here, and then I'll just kind of chime in here and there when I have a little something.
No, yeah, thank you. Before we actually go in deep into the topic of this episode, I want Don to just give the listeners, viewers, just give us a quick synopsis about you, just a little about yourself. You're an entertainer. Just what's your work, what's your experience been out here? Just a little bit of everything.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Donny Blot. Once again, I've been entertaining people since 2010, and Started off doing poetry, spoken word, did a little bit of that, competed, things like that. Once I got to college, I met up with these dudes, and we formed a group called Cap Six, which is a hip hop collective, and we've been dominating, opening up for big artists like Kyle, Earl Sweatshirt,
Nice. I love Kyle.
yeah, Vince Staples, KRS One, and just to name a few. We've been doing that, and then recently, actually 5 years ago, I picked up acting, and then from there I did, started in this wonderful show called Broke Boys. I started another show, supporting in this other show called B&B, a place where you can be and be. And I have some other stuff that's coming in right now, which is great. I am actually doing a 2-person play, which is going to be in Stars in Chicago. And that's actually, we're premiering that in September. So, yeah, a little busy.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm not going to be biased to everyone. But like I've watched, actually, like before they were even released, Donny had the chance, he blessed me with the pre-premieres for both those shows. They're both different. Like you have Broke Boys, which is the serious tone. The B&B's hilarious. It's a Airbnb happening during COVID. Like it's so funny. Like, then me and Josh, actually, we were blessed when we went to Denver to go see Donny a year ago. We was there at the pre-premiere or the release for B&B. So that was pretty cool. So
time, man. Great experience.
Me and Josh are dabbling into the world here and there.
Yeah, that was some exposure for sure, man. It's always interesting on the outside to kind of think, yo, man, like what is like the acting world or the acting environment like, and got kind of a little firsthand experience. And
that's a little taste
live.
too.
Yeah,
it was a little taste. That obviously those shows are a little bit more and small in production, but what they came up with and what they got actually turned out to be a very huge success for them. So I'm very, very proud of that work.
That's cool. And me and Josh did this way before we even thought about doing a podcast. So like that kind of like doing that was actually pretty cool because we're just hanging with people and it was just normal, right? So like you're an actor and we're hanging with a bunch of actors and I don't know, it was a different vibe, but it was nothing that scared us away. If anything, like that experience kind of helped us out to do this because we're just talking to people on a regular now.
Yeah, kind of tapping into like the creative vibes, creative world a little bit. We were just talking about the Zelda game like a minute ago, and just like how uncreative we are because there's just such an open world of possibilities just in the game. But that's the same kind of transfers to real life, right? There's just a lot of different options, a lot of things that you can do in this game called life, and we're just tapping into it one day at a time, a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to you, Donny, and the growth that we've had as a result, man. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you for being here. So let's transition this. So today's episode is gonna circle around diversity, and like everyone knows, every time we have a special guest, we kind of try to relate these themes into their world. And again, he's an actor, he's an entertainer, and I felt like this was a great topic because me and Don are movie buffs. We love watching movies and TV shows. And we notice there's a lack of diversity. That's always an issue here and there. But like the main thing, which I'll click it right now. We'll talk about the Little Mermaid controversy. This huge controversy going around this movie already because of the casting of Ariel. And we knew this, what was it, like 2 years ago? Like we knew she was Haley, she was going to play she was going to play Ariel. People don't know she's black, and she's going to be playing a character who's, she's white. I guess, she's predominantly she's the cartoon, right? She's white, and there's never been a live action version of this. This is obviously it's fiction, right? Fiction is, I always get them mixed up, right? Fiction is
is make believe.
Yeah. I always get them mixed up. But yeah, so this is a fictional character, and people are just flipping out because it's being played by a black actress. And we want to talk about this because, again, this is a huge issue, but we're going very near to the release of this movie. By the time of this recording, it's going to be the next week will be the release, right? So we're recording on the 15th. So next week will be the weekend of the 26th, I think. I think that's when the release of the movie. And that's when The Little Mermaid's coming out. And I'll get to each of your thoughts about it. I'm one who I don't really care for The Little Mermaid, like the original, but because she's in it, I'm like, let me get I would like this. I've seen the other live action Disney movies, so I'm interested to see her rendition of this. So Don, tell me a little bit what you think about this whole Little Mermaid controversy. And first, we'll go through all of our takes on it, and we'll let you expand on how this controversy expands into just the world of acting.
Silly. As a simple word is silly. I think people who are against it or just really think that it's miscast or it's not, they cast the wrong person. It's quite silly because it is. I mean, again, I can we'll dive into it when it comes to casting itself and how that works and how they I think decided Halle, which what I found out was kind of crazy about it, by the way. But
do tell.
So what happened was, with this, because usually when you have a big profile movie like this, they usually already have like a setup, someone already in mind for it. That's usually what happens. But in this particular case, they actually did a audition for it. So people actually did audition for this film. However, Halle was the first one up, and they already knew that she was going to be Ariel due to that performance that she did. So, it's that alone, already tells you of, how the vision that the director had already, moving forward and how they wanted to portray the movie in the first place.
So she just knocked it out the park.
Yeah, she knocked it out the park. Exactly. And the thing is, it's probably more than just. I mean, yes, her voice is God tier.
She's a singer. For people don't know that, right? Her and her sister, they had a duo group.
Yeah.
Before this.
So her singing would already probably ring bells of how Ariel would sound like already, and her look also kind of give her innocence. She has a certain innocence about her as well.
What do they call it? The girl next door type vibe? Like that's what they call it?
Yep. So
I did not know that's what the archetype was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she has this like innocence about her that makes her, and she also looks curious. She has this curious look about her, and she's like almost mysterious looking at the same time. So it fits. I mean, yes, there are the scenario of her being black, put people in the wrong way, but they have to realize that since she is a fictional character and the fictional character does not have any type of background, that's the key right there. Yeah, the key is this character does not have a background. Like she is not from, she's not from Bronx, or she's not from, she's not from Africa, or she's not from China or anything like that. So they had to put those, ethnicities into her and fill that characteristics up. That's not the case. This person is, mermaid is a mermaid. She's a mermaid. It's simple as that. She's a mermaid. Mermaids could be anything. So that being said, really, they people being kind of racist, really are just racist about it. I don't want to say racist, but just I don't know. They want to paint a picture of on a character.
You can call it how you see it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that. I think that people think they really want to uh, abide by what the original was, right? So head-heartedly. I mean, we can go even further with Superman, right? When Michael B. Jordan was about to be Superman for that one, or not even that, Fantastic Four. Like we can.
Hold up, man, hold up. We're gonna get to all
Oh,
that.
sorry. But yeah,
We'll get
that's my
there.
spiel. That's my spiel. That's my spiel.
All right, Josh. What about you? You know, you go and then I'll hit it last, and then we'll get to what Don's getting to.
So you made an interesting point about typecasting, and that was kind of where I and my take kind of falls here. Like, I think it was more, especially when it comes to the controversy part. Like, I think it was just a very convenient excuse, for other people who have heard that term of like miscast or like, to try and run that back in a world where it makes no sense, right? Like, we're talking about, like you said, Don, a fictional character with no background, not even human, right? So you can't have a race if the person's not human or not a person at all, right? It's a different species or it's an animal, I guess, if you want to be mythical or what have you, but it's obviously not human. So how do you even have a black, white, Asian dynamic in the first place? I don't get the whole controversy at all because it just doesn't make any sense. It's not even a human thing. I get there may be like some personification, but like, did we really say Ariel was white? Was like a mermaid be white, black, or anything? That's the part that always tripped me up. But
And
I'm
to
interested in the movie
Josh,
because yeah,
so sorry to cut you off. Like, you saying that, and I know very little about the Little Mermaid, but like I think I saw a piece of the trailer where you see a bunch of other mermaids, and they're all different colors, like all different skin colors in that, like all different, like diverse mermaids.
well, there you have it, right? Like
Even
the
in a
ocean is a
cartoon.
massive ecosystem, right? Like you have different fish, different colors, different even within their own like species or within their own type, right? Different shapes, different sizes, different colors, etc. Right? So you don't call those races. So I just think it's just a way to be controversial. Everyone has to have a take. Everyone has to kind of get their way or kind of get their own their get back, if you will. Hearing that, oh, like all these roles were miscast because somebody was white in a role that was definitely ethnic or definitely had a culture point of view that this person definitely did not fit. And now you have a chance at a shoes on the other foot, and you just want to say it. That's my take on it.
All right, well, I guess it's you guys over here giving the PC answer. I'm gonna give it to a straight man. Boo hoo to all those people complaining about Ariel being played by a black actress. Like, again, you guys hit it like the nail on the head. We're talking about a fictional creature, right? Mermaids are creatures. They're not human in any way like that, right? And you're talking about because she's black, right? They even did it closer where they made her redheaded, because if anything, what made Ariel distinct is not that she's white, but she was a mermaid with red hair. So they gave her the red, the red dreads. And honestly, this is just more, to me, this is just an example of people mad of change, like inevitable change that's happening. Like, we're talking about Haley, who by all accounts deserve this role. So instead of saying we're going to go for the best person for this role, we're going to just no. We want the best white person for this role. That's exactly what people are telling me. Like, no one's not once have I heard the argument is that they miscasted her because she's not ready for this role. Is because she's not white. That's the argument here, straight up, and it's that's the look, right? Not she has red hair, right? Dreads red hair, not like the what normally is white or Caucasian red hair, right? No. They're not saying that. It's, oh no, she's black. And then we'll get the hair to difference. Like, no, you just call it how you see it. You're mad that she's not white.
So let me add this point to this, Jay, real quick. When you hear the keynote, right, song of the Little Mermaid movie, even in the past, right? What is it? Under the Sea, right? Now, from a cultural perspective, we're gonna go there, right? Like, what is that familiar of, right? Caribbean culture, right?
The crab, right? Well, again, I know very little about the Little Mermaid, but like
yeah, like so. I mean, at the same token, like,
and even when they did the play version of it last year, who they had playing Sebastian? Sebastian's the crab, right?
Yep. Sebastian.
It was crab. Shaggy. It was Shaggy. The artist, the people. It wasn't me. Like. That guy played the play version, the TV play version of it. Why? Because it already has a Caribbean tone to it.
Right.
But again,
so if we're going to attribute a region or a culture that Ariel and all the characters should probably be framed around, it should probably be Caribbean culture. If we're going to go there, right?
Yeah. Atlantis, right? I would say the city of Atlantis is somewhere in the Caribbean.
There you go.
Somewhat. But like, honestly, like, just is. I applaud the director and the casting crew, not because like they chose a black actress to play Ariel, because they chose the best person for the role, and it just so happens that she's black. Like, it's just that didn't matter, and like Donnie said, this person Ariel has no other characteristics to her, right? It's not like Ariel from previously. Yeah, in the cartoon she's white, but it's not like she's this white. Like, imagine if it was a white English female who just so happens to be a mermaid, and then that's kind of the story, right? So then it's like, okay, well, that's kind of her history. We're not changing too much of it, even though, again, it doesn't. Unless I never have a problem with changing race at all, unless it really has something to do with the story. But there's nothing to this. There's nothing to this. It's just another way of people, and I know we talked about it before, woke culture is like, oh, now we're woke because we want diversity. It's like, no, you're just mad because we're getting more representation. So we're slowly becoming represented. And honestly, do you know how cool it is for, like, imagine if you had kids. Imagine you had a daughter and she's like, oh, look, Ariel looks just like me. Right? Like, you're being represented.
Which was the reaction of that first
yes,
trailer.
I've seen that. Just like when the whole, like, when Black Panther came out, Wakanda Forever came out, like Chadwick realized that he was that figure for young African American boys, and it's the same thing where, like, I'm like, I don't like this movie too much, but Encanto, right? Like, people love that. That's a Colombian Disney movie. People love it, but what was it? A lot of representation for, like, more Hispanics, just like Coco, more for Hispanics. And then you have these other movies like Mulan. Like, you have more. It's just more representation. So I don't see an issue with it at all. I would have loved to someone try to school me on why this is an issue, because honestly, there isn't. It's you being closed-minded is what it comes down to.
Yeah. See, there's a difference, right, between that and, like, Dragon Ball, right? Remember that Dragon Ball movie?
Okay. Oh, hold on. Wait. Here we go. Examples, right? Examples of diversity. So, Don, talk to me about that. And I have a bunch of examples of, like, of what we call whitewashing, like whitewashing and good diversity. Like, we'll talk about both right now.
So the difference is, so the example of a bad one of what we said whitewash is Dragon Ball, right? What's that guy's name that even played that horrendous movie? I mean, he apologized.
I don't even know.
The funny
I don't even know, but that movie's so bad.
Justin Chatwin. That's his name. Justin Chatwin. Yeah, he played Goku. And I think the whole cast, except, like, Chi-Chi, was, like, the only person that was, like,
I think Master Roshi too.
Master Roshi as well too. Yeah. So those are like the only two that were representing as Japanese, and in a culture where the main character is strictly American. See, that is wrong because the original source material of where it came from and just the whole background of who Goku is and
It's based on
that
Japanese
alone
culture.
is exactly. So that's where things get dicey and wrong. That's when you're casting the wrong people to represent what the people who created the original source put their heart, blood, sweat, and tears onto. So see, and they try to Hollywood it, and
But putting
that's
away
what
actors.
yep. They try to Hollywood it, and that's where things gets wrong.
And then like a good example of like this, like a few years ago, 2020, Mulan came out, the live action version of Mulan. Now Disney did a great job because they kept it straight to the script, right? Like Mulan is based like it's what people don't know, like that's somewhat of a true story, or at least based on somewhat of a true story, right? It's called the Ballad of Mulan. That's where the whole storyline comes from. So if you ever watched the live action version of Mulan, that's probably the better representation of it, not the cartoon version. But still, like they knew they were making a live action version and they didn't whitewash it. They made sure they got actual actors of like from that demographics. It was the same way when Aladdin came out and they made sure they got Middle Eastern people besides Will Smith because the genie again is a fictional character, right? It didn't matter who anything. He was blue, so it could have been anybody. But everyone is like, if you watch Aladdin, right? They made sure that was based on Middle Eastern culture. Like that was true because that's like it takes place in a certain place and they express their culture in that movie. So that's way different than you being just a fictional character and just saying we got to throw that at you. Josh, can you think of anything of like, any good or bad one? Because I got some other ones, but I want to let you go.
Once again, I'm not quite the movie buff that y'all are, but one that came to mind, and I don't know if it was just like whitewash, but it was definitely miscast. And I'm gonna go with, remember the last Airbender live action?
I try to forget it.
I'm sorry for bringing that one back, but that one was
Us three are big Avatar Last Airbender fans here.
yeah, that was rough. I remember being in the theater looking at that and being like, who in the world put these people
I don't
in
think
these
I don't
roles?
think it was. I necessarily that one's tricky, right? I think because yeah, because Aang was supposed to be like a monk. I don't know this
Yeah,
Aang. His name was what? I forgot his
It was
name.
Ong in the movie. They got the name wrong.
yeah, there were so many missteps.
Oh yeah. They didn't keep it. They didn't keep it to the original source at all. So
Nah, not one. That one was a terrible one for me. They could have just like scrapped that one, like put a whole new cast.
But like honestly, like another thing, like this is very recent. Like I don't know if I don't. You guys aren't like really big Game of Thrones fans. Like I love Game of Thrones. I really like all that like fantasy stuff. So like the Game of Thrones is like right up my alley. And they came out with House of Dragons last year, and again, people flipped out because one of the races there, I guess they're Targaryens. They're dragon blood. I guess they're dragon people. That's kind of the simplest way to sum it up. And they have like certain characteristics. Again, mind you, this is fictional. This is very fantasy, and I think like their main thing is like they have this white hair, right? Like just like very white blonde hair, like very bleached. And if you ever look, you can look up like Khaleesi or Daenerys Targaryen. She was like the main character in the original Game of Thrones series. You hear that name, you probably know. And that hair, that's just synonymous with that race of people. And people got mad because, at least in the Game of Thrones first part, in the first show, yeah, they were white. And then this time in the prequel show, we have one with like they're kind of a descendant of the Targaryens, but they're still kind of similar. And they were black, and it was like, oh, how dare they be black? Is not true to the source material. But even though it's a fictional book, is very fictional. And that race, whether that person who's played by a black actor, whether it was white or black actor, didn't change anything. Just they felt this was the right person. And again, fictional characters, and then people bring this up, and it's like, well, this is what gets me mad. Like, how do you feel we made a white person MLK? And it's like, look, how ignorant are you in regards to that? Because that's a real person, and because you feel very much butthurt that a character that you think is predominantly white is being played by now a black or a minority person. Now it's like you're not being represented anymore. And like, instead of you thinking I'm not being represented anymore, just think about like, wow, like we're representing other people now, because someone's kids is probably getting the same feeling like maybe you felt when you was a child and such. And we're not stealing anything away for you. If anything, we're just adding to that. It's just like, I don't see why this has to be bad in any way.
But there's also some like weird nationalistic vibes like to it too, right? Like you almost like, as soon as you hear a take like that, you almost think like America type of vibes, right? And you just said like it's a whole nother like country background. They're not even like in this world, and yet like you still have like this sense of pride that really makes zero sense in this case. Like it's just world.
It's just entertainment.
It has nothing to do with the world here.
Yeah, and it's
comes out somehow, somewhere.
And then I'll bring this to Don over here because he'll appreciate this. Again, earlier this year, a show came out called The Last of Us, an HBO show. That show is based on a video game called The Last of Us. There's 2 games in this series. The season 1 is based on the first game. And honestly, it's a post-apocalyptic world where they're not alien. I mean, they're not zombies, but you know, if I'm going to describe it to somebody, they're just zombies. And like, it's very scientific what they really are, but they're just zombies. It's essentially what they are. And they're played by, there's a group of characters there. And in the game, they were just white, right? They were just white. Didn't matter, whatever. There's black characters in the game as well, but like the main characters, the characters you play with are. And again, them being white has nothing to do with the story. It just, whatever, right? It just happens. Now the show came out and people flipped out because you have Pedro Pascal, who's a very talented actor. Like, if you know, he's in Game of Thrones, he's in The Mandalorian, he's in the Wonder Woman movie, he's in a lot of things. He's in Narcos. He's a Hispanic.
Narcos, right? Like that's where
Well, I knew him first from Game of Thrones, but yeah, because that was earlier than that. But yeah, he's a Hispanic actor, and they chose him as Joel, a white character in the game, and people flipped out. Like, that's them being woke again. That's, you know, they have to just, you know, be put a diversity just for diversity's sake, basically discrediting him, saying that you're not good enough to be that, right? It's just because we're doing it for diversity's sake. And then people flipped out. His brother, so he plays by another Hispanic actor. It just so happened to be like that. I don't know too much about that guy. And then the daughter in the show, she's black, or she could be mixed, whatever, but she's black. And it's like, look, they're not even the same race or whatever. It's like, it's just a show. Like, she was the best person for like why did it matter? Like, did that really take away from you from like that moment of watching the show? Like, did it break character for you that he's Hispanic and then his daughters just so happen to be black? Like, that can't be a real thing, right? Like, so I mean, Don, you play the games, right? Like, yeah, you watch the show too. So what do you think even about the diversity there?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I can only imagine especially in this scenario, they auditioned for the role. They gave a really good performance for the role, and they got it. And I think, and on top of that, usually what happens when it comes to auditions and things like that, you will get a audition. They'll say what they're looking for first. So the casting director will say, "Hey, we're looking for a young teen." Sometimes they will say Caucasian straight up. We just want a Caucasian person for this. Or they will say any ethnicity, and they'll put the age group of what that person is, and they'll give them the lines, and they'll go. And that's probably what happened because especially because for this material, it was not that serious due to the fact that it's post apocalyptic, and then there's the story, and sometimes that story, those characters don't necessarily hold that much weight to them. So the casting director was probably like, yeah, we can get anyone for this role, so let's do any ethnicity, and whoever can give the best performance will get that role, and that's just simple as that. It's probably, it don't go deeper than that. It shouldn't go deeper than that, but that's just what it is. Whoever got that role was the best person for that role.
And before I segue to this, if people flipped out that Pedro Pascal, a Hispanic man, played a white man in the show, like there was big rumors, and I remember I told Don about this and other people I know that Mahershala Ali was like, people thought like he had a good chance of being that guy. You know, everybody, if people don't know, he's a black actor. He's a top tier actor. He's actually
A-list.
Like if top of my head, top 3 favorite actors of mine. If he's in it, I watch it. Like he's that good. And I was like, you know what? Like I would have loved to have seen that because I know the caliber of his skills. I'm like, he could have done a great role too. No offense to what Pedro Pascal did, because he did a really good job, especially if you play the games and you watch it. Very much, he understood the assignment.
Yeah,
but I was like,
yeah.
So I was like, man, like Ali, I love him. So it's like I was biased. I'm like, you could have put him in there too. I don't care. But people would have flipped out, just like before. And I'll end it like this: if anyone ever watched the Resident Evil show that's on Netflix, one of the villains, his name is Albert Wesker, and he's played by an actor who recently passed away. And why can't I think of his name right now?
Oh yeah, his name is, I think it's not Vince.
No,
like
no. Wow, hold on. He's in The Wire. He's in like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
I wish I could help you guys on this one, but
Lance Reddick. That's him.
Lance Reddick. That's it. Yeah. Lance. Yeah.
Black actor, right? And he played. The guy's Asian, but again, Resident Evil. It doesn't really matter because they're all over the world at that point. But like the people flipped out, like because a black actor played. Whether he's gonna be played by a white actor or an Asian actor, I don't know. But while we gave us all these examples, like what do you guys even think about what's the state of diversity in Hollywood? Like Don, what do you think about that? As an actor trying to like break out right now?
It's moving forward. I will say that. Real fast to hit you with the Pedro Pascal and stuff. Bella Ramsey, they those two worked together in that
they was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Bella Ramsey was in Game of Thrones. Yes, she was a beast in that show too.
Yeah, so their chemistry, they already had a great chemistry to begin with, and I think that's part of the reason why those two got casted in the first place. And it's an HBO show on top of that, so it's they get the same actors.
Yeah. Low hanging fruit.
Yeah, exactly. So that's part of some of the reason why on that as well. I mean, there's more politics. Hollywood is politics, so there's that. But what my take on diversity of Hollywood, I think, and I feel like it is moving forward. Real quick, I feel like one person that kind of sparked it for me was Anthony Mackie when he was saying that he watched Black Panther and he said that Black Panther is actually more racist. The fact that Marvel decided to put an all-black cast to film Black Panther, and why
there's only one white guy in the movie, right?
Yeah. But the cast itself, though, they hired a black director, they added a black writer, they had a black editor, they had a black crew, all together, black dancers, black costume designer, all these things. And he pointed out as we get hired for that black film, but we're not. Are we not good enough to be hired for any other film, other white films and stuff like that?
I see his point of view,
So
and sorry to cut you off. Like, I remember there was an argument with Black Panther. Is like, is it a movie or is it a black movie? And of course, people are like, if you like watch movies, you know what I mean by a black movie, right? Like,
mhm,
Yeah.
predominantly black cast. Like, you have like a Next Friday or The Best Man or like
mhm.
Brown Sugar or like
Kind of
stuff like that.
lurking into that black exploitation type of
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah,
Type of
yeah.
joint. I see what you mean.
But yeah, people thought that was a thing. Like like what Don said. Like, and what Anthony Mackie was saying, like, this is a black film, right? I see where he's coming from a bit.
Yeah.
I don't fully agree, but I see the point of
Yeah,
view.
yeah, exactly. And it was interesting that he said that because of the fact that a lot of the black actors and black directors and black writers don't necessarily get hired to do those other films that I'm pretty sure a black person would do great writing a Last of Us or just edit or just direct it, right? But he strikes that interesting point. But I would say that Hollywood itself is definitely moving forward into a better direction when it comes to diversity and just different kinds of films. Like I recently just watched Beef on Netflix, and that is it's based off a true story based off a road rage between two people, and this person followed the person uh, to their place. I think it's softly true story because I think they just expanded and went crazy and nuts on that. But that film, I mean that show it's an all Korean cast. It's directed by a Korean person as well, and it's not about you know that culture per se. It's just Korean people just living their lives, and that's just so happened to happen like that. So and then them people, the nominations for the Oscars and the everything. What's that movie? Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything everywhere all at once. Yeah,
Yeah, that film winning, all the awards basically. It won all the
it did.
awards.
Yeah, I
Yep.
heard a lot about that movie before it won all those
Yep.
awards, and I heard good
Yep.
things. I'll actually talk about that movie when it's my turn.
Yeah. So just by that and them winning all the awards, and it just shows that even Parasite, right? Parasite was
I
another
was gonna
good
bring that
film.
up. Parasite won like 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
and I
Parasite.
think Roma won, and it's on Netflix. It's a Hispanic
Yep.
movie, only
Yep.
Spanish, and it won.
Yep. Animated film of Soul,
Mm.
best animated film.
Yep,
Two
so it was
years
a good
ago.
one.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
Encanto won. And people love the
Coco.
Bruno Coco was good.
Yeah, so I'll say I'm definitely will say that it's definitely moving to the right direction when it comes to diversity, but we still need more of it, especially when it comes to women in film, um, female directors, female um, you know editors, screenwriters, things like that. Black women on top of that, we don't have much of that either. Um, we only have I could name just like a handful, like of course Issa Rae. Um, yeah, I'm going blank just because is not that many, but I do feel like after all of that though, diversity for Hollywood is moving in a right direction. It's not in a rapid direction, but is going into a right direction.
What about you, Josh? What do you think? Being like the less movie buff out of us.
Adequately put. Uh, yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said, Don, especially with regards to the leadership aspect of it, right? Like who's directing, editing, producing, even behind the scenes. Like I think that there's a lot more work to be done, even in those elements, than just like the acting and the actors themselves, right? I will also say that I mean Hollywood is not the end all be all when it comes to art and film, right? And I think of a if you all remember when Squid Game came out, right? And the star of that show was interviewed by some American person, and the question posed was something to the extent of like, oh, how does it feel to be a big time actor now, to be very famous, when in his country he was famous the entire time, right? Like he was in a country that is actually probably more populated than the U.S. But it just kind of goes to show that like the kind of the box that we have, that like Hollywood is it, right? Um,
That's why you have like Bollywood, right? Like
Bollywood.
their version.
Could you imagine that type of celebrity world? Like, but I mean, once again, like that's they have their avenue to do culture their way. Um, but I to go back to Hollywood in and of itself, I definitely think that there are steps made in that direction, and I think a lot of it is just based on common sense that just wasn't there before, right? When it came to typecasting, or when it came to relevant actual casting based on the culture that you're trying to portray, and do it in an accurate, culturally competent way with individuals who live, breathe, lived it for a while, and have been a part of that experience, and it just makes the movie, it makes the art better. um that's kind of my bird's eye view of it. I definitely applaud, the Marvels and Disney's for kind of doing that, creating more avenues for people of color to be represented in film, and to be a part of the making of said films as well. Um, but I think a lot of it is just based on it made sense in the first place. What didn't make sense was the miscasting part that has to be kind of undone.
Mhm.
Great, yeah. Um, for me, I think, wow, like Josh, like you said, like diversity is being done well in certain companies. Like Disney's doing like very well in it. Um, Marvel, somewhat Star Wars, but then that gets iffy because like they will bow down to whatever China says. So that's a different story. Warner Brothers does a good job, especially with DC. Like if you watch like the Black Adam movie, you have The Rock, who's he's a diverse casting, and then you have Hawkman. I forgot the actor's name. I know he's in a lot of stuff, but he's black. They're diverse casting. So there's that, and the Adam Smasher. So like there's and the other girl too. Again, like again, that was a diverse cast, and no one even thought about it because DC has been very much on the lower totem pole when it comes to these movies. Like it doesn't compare to Disney or Marvel or anything like that. But I think diversity is nowhere near where you want to be, and the perfect example of it is like the Oscars, because like you have you have the premiere award show, and yet it's like we're still to this day like amazed if a minority wins something, right? Like I brought up Mahershala Ali, right? He's one of a few actors who've won Best Supporting Actor twice, like, and he's in a lot of stuff. Like, and like I don't even know if Denzel won it, right? But like you got to imagine these top tier people, like or like Spike Lee. It took him how long? And he's made like very iconic movies. And I know with this past Oscars, what Don said, everywhere, all at once, basically swept it. And I was like, I'm one of those. I don't like to listen to like what other people are saying and such. I'm like, I heard it's good. I want to give it a shot. People are flipping out because Angela Bassett, they said she should have won it. She should have won, as best actress.
Best supporting.
Best supporting for Wakanda Forever. And I at the time only saw Wakanda Forever. I'm like, you know what? She did an excellent job of that movie, no doubt. Did Jamie Lee Curtis did she do a good job? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see the movie. I'm not gonna say that Angela didn't deserve it, right? I'm not gonna say she got robbed because I didn't see the movie. Now I saw the movie. I didn't really like everything everywhere all at once. I thought it was it's one of those very you have to think about it. It's a multiverse movie. So if you stop paying attention, you can get lost. And while I thought Jamie Lee Curtis did a fine job, I don't think she was very impactful like an Angela Bassett was like as the queen. Like that was such an iconic role, especially stuff that happened in it. Like she sold it. So like when you think of these winners, like minorities are still aren't winning. It's still like a good old boys club in the Oscars. Like, look how long it took Will Smith to win something. And yeah, he was known as the Fresh Prince, but you gotta admit, after a while, he started doing these serious roles, like The Pursuit of Happiness. That wasn't. You think he could have won an award for that? Maybe. Like he sold that movie to me.
Yeah.
I didn't see the King Richard, but then I know the movie is on Apple TV, like Emancipation. I heard that's Oscar worthy. But then, of course, because of the whole slap situation, he's probably not gonna win it, right? Like they're gonna blackball him for that. But you got to think that Will Smith is one of like our greatest actors and at least in our lifetime, and he got one Oscar to his name. Does Denzel even have one? Oh, he does have one for Training Day for playing the bad guy, right? That was the joke. He played all these amazing roles, and then he had to play the villain in Training Day to finally win something. But he has like a GOAT catalog of movies. But he's not winning stuff while we're in why minorities are coming out and like more in these movies, there's still so much work to be done, especially with just more exposure.
It's changing, but it's not
there yet.
Rapid pace. Yeah,
it's not where it should be because like again, if I hold Mahershala Ali in such a high tier. Right, like why does he has two? If anything, I'm arguing why did he win supporting actor? Why, if anything, he's the main guy in the Green Book. How is he the main actor? But you're gonna put him as a supporting role? Is that to diminish anything? That's just conspiracy talk. That's just here or there, right? But I thought the Green Book was like amazing. That's a great movie for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not there yet, and God knows when we're gonna be there. But I do applaud. I guess I'll do this. I'll applaud Disney. Like Disney is ahead of the curve, right? And like I'm not even gonna get political on it, but Disney like don't care. Like they're doing stuff to really expose people. Like for example, like in Disney World here in Orlando, like they have this thing with Disney World's their board versus Governor DeSantis over LGBTQ rights. And they're going back and forth, and Disney doesn't care. Like we're going to represent who we want. People had a big deal about and Buzz Lightyear. There was a gay casting. There was like two animated characters share like a half a second kiss. God, oh my God, right? Like forget this. Like I can't believe I don't want my kids to see this. Or I recently saw a movie, Strange Planet. It's on Disney Plus as well. And like these two boys, like teenage boys, like they like each other. I don't even think they kiss anything. They were just flirting. Oh God, right? Like that's a thing. Or the movie Turning Red, where the girl's like having her period, and it's like we're having a big deal because of that. And it's like Disney's just doing whatever because they understand their audience. They understand I don't have just white people just watching it. I have Hispanics, I have blacks, I have Asians, I have gay straights watching it, and I want to include everybody in it. And Disney, again, I think they're ahead of the curve of anything. And I love Disney. So if people think I'm biased, whatever, it's not even that. I call it like how I see it. But with Disney, they did the Ariel thing, like how we just started this episode. But then they just released the Peter Pan movie on Disney Plus, Peter and Wendy at something. I think that's what it's called. And the girl from Grownish and Blackish, Yara, I think that's her name.
Yep.
She plays Tinkerbell, and the world blew up because we have a black Tinkerbell.
Once again, a fairy.
So
when did fairies have
because
ethnicities and labels?
Because Tinkerbell has, I guess the argument Tinkerbell has a distinct white blonde hair. I don't care. Like it doesn't matter, right? It honestly doesn't matter. But like I'm gonna pose this question: like, do you think that Disney's, that is good that Disney's being inclusive? Me being that, do you think it's good that Disney's like these characters that are probably white in the cartoons now be played by diverse cast, black, Hispanics, whatever? You think that's good instead of what I heard the argument was, and I heard this from the minority group, like, no, F that, right? Disney need to do better and start creating our own character. So it's like, do you just include these characters and make them diverse, or do we just make diverse characters? Like, what do you think?
My thing is, here's the thing, and I think I said this earlier in the podcast, is that the casting director, I have to go, based on my experience, right? And the casting director again posts the thing. Your agent will say, "Hey, there's a role that they say that you might be interested in. You should audition for it." You audition, and whoever wins, make the best man win, and you get casted. And I think, and Disney is I think what Disney is good with Disney is that I don't think Disney does not care. They only really care about great performances. Whoever puts in a great show and puts in a really heartfelt, and it brings in that Disney magic that they always put in their films. Whoever gives that in will get the role. Simple as that. Unless again the character has a certain background to them.
Now, but do you think Disney's not doing a good job in creating new diverse characters? Like, I mean, top of my head, who's the last Disney princess? Was it like Tiana?
Yes.
So like, she's the only black princess, right? Is there? You want to say Tiana and Jasmine? I don't know if you consider. I don't know. I don't know if you consider Mulan a princess, but like if you want to consider her, that's 3 minority princesses. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. And Tiana was back in 2009, 2010. Like that's a long time ago.
But then again, they created any princesses after that? Really?
Yeah, no. Logic. I mean, the last one was diverse.
Yeah, I think the last one was Tiana. Regardless,
I think so. Yeah, because I don't think there's been a Disney princess movie. Like, I'm only bringing it up because I've seen the arguments and I get it. Like, if like for you guys being black, like, would you just rather have a black Ariel, black Tiana? I mean, black Tinkerbell, or would you just want a new black character? Like, kind of like Soul, right? Like Soul, like. That's like that's an iconic movie.
So let me go first. Both of them.
Both of them. F.
Like, if you were gonna run, if you were gonna rerun the live action versions, which that was kind of a phase that kind of came with Disney, right? Like they started off, all right, we're gonna do like the Lion King, and then we're gonna kind of keep the train rolling a little bit. If you were gonna do that, then diversify the cast. But then also in the background, like start making new ones. Like that gives an opportunity for different people to, be a part of this production phase and create new opportunities for other actors. I don't see why you can't do both.
Yeah, I think I have one issue when it comes to Disney, when it comes to their characters, especially when it comes to creating them creating black characters. Tiana, right? When was Tiana a princess? Oh, her being actually black in the movie. She was not black throughout that movie. She was a frog most of that movie.
Yeah,
she was a frog most of that movie. And then in Soul, it's the same thing. He was
a ghost.
A ghost. He was a ghost the whole time.
I get what you're saying. So they haven't been black the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. That's the caveat of the issue of what I have when they create these characters.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, well, they're them creating these characters. They need to really, keep us black. I think at the end of the day, I think that's what they're really missing. Because again, Tinkerbell's great, Ariel's great, you know, and then we have these, little. I don't know. Sometimes the other movies, like Inside Out, I think one of the person is black. I'm not sure, but one of the emotions I'm talking about. But again, I just feel like you know if they are gonna create characters, right? Uh, even one of my favorite movies, and I think I'm going with this with a goof who sat by the door, right? The Goof movie, a Goofy movie, right? That uh, Donald Donald Glover really shed
For
a
anyone
light
who
to that.
you got to watch Atlanta, people. So yeah, Dom is a reference to an Atlanta episode.
Yes. So basically, with Donald Glover, it was almost like a thesis statement or a thesis about the movie, where he created a some type of he created a documentary about a Goofy movie, and how that character is for the Black culture, and it was created for Black people, right? And that's how we resonate with that movie so heavily, and it's basically the argument is a Goofy movie, the blackest movie,
Is the blackest
because
Disney movie? Yeah, that's the argument.
yeah,
Interesting.
and yeah, and it does, quite frankly, I'm gonna have to agree to that due to the energy it brings to it, of even just being a black nerd, right? A black kid who likes comics, who desire this girl, that we could probably never get because she might be out of our league. We got Tevin Campbell singing. It just has all these elements of you know what us being young and black was at the
Yeah,
time.
and it's funny. So with the
And
Goofy
Disney's not
movie,
doing that right now,
yeah, I agree.
So
So I can go a little bit deeper with the Goofy movie because like that's actually my favorite Disney movie of all time. Like, I kid you not. Like, you know what? Like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. Especially now that we got a video pod, I gotta do this.
All right, so everybody who is listening on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, where you can find us, all your major podcast platforms, just take a peek at the 1 hour 7 mark on YouTube.
For anyone who don't
Let's go
believe me,
for it.
right? Like, I have the VHS. I still have
Oh
it. Like,
man, there's no dust on it. You just watched it.
no, look at that. I like this is legit. Like, this is the real thing. Like this is my favorite. Like, I would never part with it. And like it's so like I grew up like predominantly with black people, right? That's just like I kind of like I relate more to like black culture than like Hispanic culture, just because how I grew up. Like, it's not like me trying to be culture vulture and anything like that. It's just like I grew up with mostly black people, like so like that's why I love like hip hop, R&B, all that stuff. So Goofy was my favorite movie, and it never really resonated with me until like I got older, because I thought like Goofy movie was like the most underrated movie ever. And then like as I get older, it's like a lot of you hear more black and Hispanic people. No, I love the Goofy movie. Like, I love it. Like, people, I'm like, oh yeah, like, and then it hit me is like only minorities are saying that, right? And then you watch the Goofy movie again, and for anyone who doesn't know, Tevin Campbell he was a big R&B artist in the 90s. He plays Powerline, who is like the Michael Jackson of the of it, right? Like, so you gotta think about it. It's Michael Jackson. He's a Michael Jackson type character, and he's singing popish, like everything reminds you with the dancing, the music, and it just had like this like black energy. Like, it was, I guess, like Don said, one of those quote unquote black movies. And I never really thought about it until like when I grew up and I go to college and all that. I'm like, damn, like why like only people like Hispanics who mostly grew up with black people saying like they love Goofy movie. And like that's how I really resonated. Like, I was like, okay, maybe it is. And then like then you get that energy, right? Like that, like even the song like Stand, I was like talking about like I'm gonna kind of do my own thing. I'm gonna stand out. Like forget what other people saying. I'm gonna do my own thing. Forget the law. Like I'm gonna be a rebel. Like that's kind of like that '90s. Like if you think of like NWA, which I like the Straight Outta Compton. I kind of watched that movie recently. It was on TV, and it's like that was kind of like their thing, right? Like, but that rebel mentality, and that's what like the Goofy movie's all about. And when you watch that episode of Atlanta, and it's like, man, like a spoiler alert, if you didn't like, I thought that was real. I thought this was a real thing until you catch the end of it. I'm like, oh, like, like you would think that it was created by black people, like black, like artists. Like you would think that, but like I got this pulled up, so like I think I was wrong about like the last Disney princess, and I will consider her a princess, but Moana.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
It was Samoan, right? Like
yeah.
I'm with that for 1,000%.
Because like I got a list of movies. Like you got Strange World, which I brought up. That's like they had like the two gay teenagers, which is cool. Buzz Lightyear, they had the lesbian kiss scene, and they had a family boohoo to that. Turning Red, I think they were Asian. That's the one with the girl. They related to, her turning into a monster to her getting her period, which is pretty cool. Encanto, the Colombian movie. Luca, that's like a I want to say they're white. They're I vaguely remember that movie, but like they're in like an island. And I think they're I don't remember they're fish or whatever, but then they turn like, or maybe they're mermaids. I don't know, but you have Raya the Last Dragon, another Asian inspired movie. Soul with Jamie Foxx, more black. Onward, they're just monsters, like they're just brothers, so that's nothing diverse there. Frozen, nothing diverse there. Lion King, Toy Story, Mary Poppins, and then Incredibles 2, Coco, Moana, Finding Dory, Zootopia, very underrated. Zootopia's a good one actually when you think about like if you guys ever watched it, like kind of really talks about like the segregation and all that stuff. So it's very in there. But I mean, I think Disney's doing a better job than most. They're not there yet. I think we can all agree to they're not there yet, but better.
Yep.
Definitely better.
So,
definitely better.
Any closing thoughts in regards to this? Because this is a good episode, and every time we say we're gonna do an hour, man, we always pushed it.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just give up the jig on that. Just now it is what it is, right? It's great vibes with you all as usual. Don, we were talking about this offline, man. Get on that Zelda, bro. Like, come on now.
I will tomorrow for sure. Tomorrow for sure.
So Don, appreciate you spending the time to come here because when we started recording, it was light out, and now it's dark out. So
yeah, you've been with us for a minute in the trenches, man.
So appreciate this. Definitely let the audience know what your upcoming plans and where they can follow you and such. So they know where to go.
Yes. All right. You can follow me at IG at Donny Blot. That's DonnyBlot. The T is silent. And my next project, again, I'm shooting a movie back in July in Denver. It's actually will be shot in VR, which is pretty cool. And then
Ready Player One type vibes.
Yeah.
And then I am doing a 2-person play in September called Flying Kites in Chicago. So that's probably it, and then more to come as the calendar gets pulled up by the day. So yeah.
When you going to Chicago?
September.
September
like 15th.
I go the week before.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Out of the year, man. Y'all were off by just one.
I'm saying. Oh man, but this is a good episode, man. I actually, as we start winding down, like this is something me, Don, and Josh, we got this in the chambers for like a few months already. Like we knew a while ago we wanted to do this episode, but we want to get this closer to the Little Mermaid release, which I know is going to be a good movie, even though I don't too much care for the original. I'm still going to watch it, but I feel like this episode's a must because why? I feel like it's 2023 and we're still having this conversation, so it's kind of like our duty to show why we need this conversation, like why it's not normal yet, like normalize this yet.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, we just passed Mother's Day, right? You have your child now, and you want to have that representation, more and more, and especially, in my future, when I have a child as well. Don, same to you. Especially since that might be a legacy thing, hey, I, just saying, that boat will happen at some point for all of us, man. So
Stuff
Yeah.
happens. Stuff
yeah,
happens.
man. But yeah, you want to have your child in a place
Yeah,
and
yeah.
space where they feel safe, secure,
Yeah, absolutely.
especially
Yep.
with themselves above all things. Uh, don't I like
Yep.
all right now, all right.
Yep, yep, yep.
But once again, this is an episode of genuine content, genuine conversation, genuine vibes. Please be sure to follow us on IG. If you are watching, you can see it below at genuine_content, content spelled with a K. Like, subscribe, leave a review as you can see it. We are also on all your major podcast streaming platforms, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, you name it, we're on it. Also follow our Facebook page, Genuine Content Podcast. Simply Boys and Josh, who's just a little slacking on the tip, is about to wrap it up for the day. But we appreciate everybody who listened. Hope this was a good one. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. If you have a take, we'll have content on our social media platforms. Everyone will have the floor. Talk to us.
Oh, and everyone who DM us like their feedbacks and such, thank you very much. Me and Josh love that. We love the feedback. We love the conversations that I have. So keep doing that. We appreciate that so much.
Yeah, we'll keep responding, and we'll bring them up on future episodes, live streams when we have the audience, with us in the moment. So please share your feedback, absolutely. But we're gonna take it out for the day. It's genuine content once again. Peace.
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 Just get the fuck out my face.